Today, we're diving into the glitzy, high-stakes world of luxury watches. But hold on to your seatbelts, because we're not just talking about any old timepieces. We're spilling the beans on the mind-blowing, eye-watering, and downright jaw-dropping world of Richard Mille watches. But before we unravel the secrets behind these fancy wrist adornments, did you know that a Richard Mille watch can cost more than a small house? Yep, you heard that right. And here's the kicker, these timepieces aren't just bling-bling for the wrist, they're like a high-speed supercar in the world of watches. So, if you're ready to uncover why these watches are causing such a stir, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's get into it. This brand has been around for a couple of decades, launching its first watch in 2001. Since then, they've made a huge impact in the high-end watch world, all thanks to their great craftsmanship and innovation. They've quickly become the most exclusive brand in watchmaking. While their watches are impressive, what's truly astonishing is their price. Let's dive into it. The cheapest Richard Mille watch, the RM005, will set you back $80,000. That's just the starting point if you want to join the Richard Mille Club. These high-end watches can range upwards of $2 million. The most sought-after type of watch from the brand called Richard Mille is known as the tourbillon. On average, these watches usually cost between $500,000 to $800,000. They're super expensive if you look at the typical price of watches in the Richard Mille collection. This makes it the priciest watch brand out there. Let's talk about why these Richard Mille watches are so expensive. When we think about the Richard Mille brand, a few reasons stand out that make it different from others. These watches have become a symbol of extreme wealth in the watch world. That's because they're mostly worn by the richest people in society. People have even coined a term for those who wear these watches. They call it a billionaire's handshake. If you own a Richard Mille watch, it basically says you've spent a huge amount on it. It's the ultimate status symbol in the watch industry, especially because everyone knows it costs a fortune, and only the wealthiest or famous people wear them. Marketing makes their watches stand out because of their unmatched design, engineering, and innovation. The way they've marketed Richard Mille has been a big part of why it's successful. That marketing helps justify the high prices they charge. They've made owning a Richard Mille feel exclusive, like it's only for people similar to you who can afford it. Their slogan, "A racing machine on the wrist," explains a lot about why their watches are pricey, and it's been a really effective strategy for them. Rarity plays a big role in Richard Mille watches. It's not just about how they're marketed or planned out. Crafting one of these watches takes a lot of care and time, mostly done by hand. But the scarcity of Richard Mille watches isn't only because of how they're made. Richard Mille only makes fewer than 5,000 watches each year. While that might not seem small, the demand for them is much higher than what's available. This creates a special feeling around these watches, making people want them even more. Plus, many models are only made in limited amounts, making each one feel extra special. The high prices you see in resale and auctions show just how much people value this brand. Complicated movements are another reason. Making only a few watches allows them to focus better on each one, especially on the complex inner workings. Richard Mille, unlike traditional watchmakers, took a fresh approach. He was passionate about watching the intricate parts in action, which inspired him to showcase these movements. People loved the idea of seeing how a watch really works, and soon, tourbillons became the main focus. These rotating cages needed a lot of creativity and skill to perfect. Richard Mille's watches stand out not just for their accuracy and reliability, but also for their stunning design and sophistication. High-tech materials are also a significant factor. The special thing about Richard Mille watches isn't just the cool ideas and designs. What really makes them stand out is the super high-tech materials they use. These materials are so new and different that no one in the watch world has used them before. They're the same kinds of materials used in making fancy cars, spaceships, and superfast boats. That's pretty wild, right? Mille didn't just stumble upon these materials by chance. Nope, it took a ton of money and a bunch of years to figure out how to use them in watches. The result? Watches made from stuff that's totally fresh in the watchmaking scene. And let's talk about how these watches feel. They might look big, but they're actually super light on your wrist, weighing only about 40 grams on average. Plus, they're tough as nails. They won't break or wear out easily. So, you get this combo of sturdy, light, and sleek all in one. But here's the real kicker: each watch is one of a kind. The way these materials are made creates different patterns in each watch, just like how everyone has different fingerprints. So, no two watches are exactly the same. They're as rare as it gets. Design is also a standout feature. The design of the Richard Mille watch stands out immediately because of its unique look. Inspired by Formula One cars, it resembles a mix of a racing car and a high-tech machine. The design is bold and easily recognizable, focusing on being lightweight and comfortable for those who love watches. They've put a lot of thought into making it both stylish and comfortable. Each model is meticulously handcrafted and highly technical. Even just the dial is very intricate to assemble, especially the skeleton-shaped dials. One of Richard Mille's most famous design features involves a complex arrangement of sapphire crystals and other parts. Watchmaking itself is an art. The distinctive tonneau shape of their iconic cases is a big deal. It's a major feature that sets these watches apart. But making these sandwich-style cases is seriously tricky. It's not just hard work, it also hikes up the production costs. Each case has 3 parts: front bezels, a middle section, and back bezels. And here's the kicker: none of these parts are flat, they're all curved. That makes assembling them a real challenge. They have to fit together perfectly, with only a tiny margin for error to keep moisture and dust out. The precision needed for this is mind-blowing and probably the most amazing thing about these watches. Even seasoned watchmakers are wowed by this precision. The finishing touches, like the angles and hand polishing, are top-notch. The whole process results in a super cool, technical movement that's a delight to see. But here's the catch: this kind of handmade watchmaking is seriously tough and needs top-notch skills. That's why Richard Mille watches cost a pretty penny. That's a wrap for today's video. What's your take on Richard Mille watches? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed learning about these luxury timepieces, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating content like this. Ring that bell icon so you never miss out on our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.